up on your feet and help me get it. Everybody up in here. Get up.
It's senior night at Baggett Stadium for Cal Poly baseball as the Mustangs look to take the final series of the year against Long Beach State. Welcome to Mustang Game Day. I'm Nate Mills, joined by Sergio Romero, and we bid you a good afternoon from Swanson Studios as we get you ready for the final baseball game of the 2024 season.
Let's get right into what to look for in today's game.
Yeah, this season, Sergio, I think this Cal Poly roster has exceeded a lot of expectations from, D1 baseball, perfect game baseball. They had the Mustangs finishing 7th in the Big West this season. Right now, they're tied for 3rd with the University of Hawaii.
No, yeah, for sure. And it looked like they would finish 7th in the Big West Conference through their first 10, 11 games of the season. They sported a 2-9 record. They couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. Their pitching staff was great, but their offense couldn't get it going. And then finally, the offense turned the corner, and the bats have been hot ever since. Jake Steels, Ryan Stafford, Joe York, some of the freshmen we'll get into later, Alejandro Garza, a transfer, Dylan Corday. Like, all these guys just came on at the right time, and they've contributed heavily for the Mustangs.
All those bats that you're talking about near the top half of the lineup, all hitting around 300. That's not something you really see on a lot of college baseball rosters, and certainly something that has helped the Cal Poly Mustangs this season. Unfortunately for them, they've just had an absolute buzzsaw of a conference this year in the University of Santa Barbara. It's really hard to take over the conference when the Gauchos only lose 4 times the entire conference play.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. And I mean, the Mustangs they took care of business against them and other ranked team, UC Irvine. UC Irvine was the top team in the Big West for a while before UC Santa Barbara overtook them. But the Mustangs took care of business against them, but they just couldn't get it done against other Big West teams, which is unfortunate because if you're beating teams like UC Santa Barbara and UC Irvine, you'd expect to be able to take over the conference, but that just didn't. The stars didn't align like that this season.
What also hurt the Mustangs too is losing that series against the University of Hawaii, UC Davis, and then of course UC San Diego. So that kind of shot them in the foot a bit. But tonight they're not playing for Big West first place. Instead, they're just going to be celebrating the seniors and celebrating the wonderful season they've had so far this year. At Baggett Stadium, we actually have reporter Jonathan Z, who's by with some families. I believe it's the parents of Joe York. We'll see as we head over to Jonathan Z at Baggett Stadium. Jonathan, what do you got for us?
All right, I'm here with Angel Casillas and Robin York, parents of Joe York and Aaron Casillas. How are you guys doing today?
Great, very excited, blessed.
Super excited to be here.
How many series have you guys had a chance to come out to this year, or just in general too?
We've been to five series altogether this year.
I've been to 4 since I moved out of state, but every time they play in Southern California, the rest of my family goes.
What is your guys' favorite moment this year watching the team play?
Well, ours happened when he hit a walk-off against Bakersfield, but every time we come to a series here, it's just exciting to meet the family, the program, the kids, take them out to dinner. So I'd have to say every time we show up, for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to say every time they do a walk-off win and seeing all those kids run out to the kid that hit it off, and it's been a different kid like every single time it happens, is pretty awesome.
And a little bit of a question for the opposite of you. What's your favorite moment of Aaron Casillas, and what's your favorite moment of Joe York?
So Aaron is probably the best shortstop I've ever seen go in the hole for a ball, and you know he's going to get every single one of them and throw a rocket over to Joe without a doubt.
In my case, Aaron's always saying how he feels comfortable throwing to Joe because he'll pick at it. So if he's in the hole, he'll one-hop it. With Joe, just taking him out to dinner. The few times that we took him out to dinner and just talking to him, he's an awesome kid. You did a great job with him. He's a beautiful kid.
All right, real quick before we go, can you turn around and show the camera your shirts? We got Big Joe, we got Aaron Casillas shirts here. All right, thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Those shirts are awesome. Where can I pick one of those up?
I love those shirts.
I want that Big Joe on the back. I want that forever.
That's a leg shirt
That
right
Aaron
there.
Casillas graphic was really cool too.
Yeah.
We're in the era of NIL, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more swag like that in the future.
100%.
Thanks again, Jonathan, for getting that live interview with the parents of Aaron Casillas and Joe York. We're going to head into a quick break and take a look at some of the youth that has helped Cal Poly this season.
3, 2, 1.
The Mustang Mile honors the memory of Carson Starkey, a Cal Poly student who lost his life to alcohol poisoning after a fraternity hazing incident in 2008. Resources like the Drug Enforcement Administration, Mustangs for Recovery, and Pulse were present at the event to provide health and wellness resources to students and community members. To demonstrate Carson's love for the outdoors, students dressed up in costumes and ran a 5K.
I did it like 2 years ago when it first started coming back, and then I just like doing it because it's like pretty fun, and it's like running through campus and like with everyone, which you don't really get to do like every time of the year. So
This year's first place winner finished the 3-mile run with a 5-minute and 28-second pace.
I just kind of like, oh, like this is halfway, time to push it. It's like more of like a meditation, I would say, instead of like actually thinking about it.
All 23 California State University campuses use the Aware Awake Alive program that was created in memory of Carson to reduce alcohol poisoning deaths. More than 2,200 people die from alcohol poisoning annually, according to the National Center for Drug Abuse Statistics. To learn more about Carson's story, the program, and its mission, visit awareawakealive.org. For Mustang News, I'm Angel Gaitan.
Welcome back to Mustang Game Day. Let's dive into some of the players who have gotten their Cal Poly careers off to a strong start.
Yeah, although the Mustang season ends after today's game, they also have a lot of great freshmen to look forward to next season in the future. On the mound tonight is freshman Griffin Nez. He has a 7-0 record this season, a 3.07 ERA. That's 7th best in the Big West this year. He's limited his opponents to only a 2.15 batting average, and that leads the team. Don't forget that game against CSUN where he allowed only 1 hit through 8 innings as well. On the hitting side, Alejandro Garza has been clutch in the middle of the order. Also has got a great arm over there at third base. He's been hitting in the 5 spot this year for the Mustangs, and he's batting a .342 clip right now, and that's the 3rd highest on the team. Last night he hit a double and went 4 for 4, just producing consistently, and he'll continue to be a big part of this Mustang offense next season. Another player in Braxton Thomas played extremely well for a good stretch of the second half of conference play. The team calls him Mr. Incredible because of his massive upper body strength and tremendous power. Out of 13 hits this season, 5 of them are home runs, so a lot of power coming out of the left-handed batter's box. He's had a rough stretch the past couple of weeks, and it'll be interesting to see how he can keep that up next season for the Mustangs.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree, Nate. The team has some promising young players that have already made their impact on the team. Braxton Thomas, like you mentioned, didn't make his debut until Cal Poly played UC Davis just under a month ago. And the debut was intriguing itself as well. In his second at-bat of his career, he walked it off for the Mustangs, albeit in a little unconventional way. He hit a little dribbler to the pitcher's mound, and Tate Shamau was on third base. Tate Shamau took off running and scored the game-winning run and barely beat the throw to home. So now we have sports reporter Anthony Mollison, who talked to Thomas about his short but sweet freshman season.
Thomas has burst onto the scene for Cal Poly baseball. The freshman DH missed the first 39 games of the Mustangs season as he recovered from knee surgery. But since he's gotten healthy, he has become a staple of the lineup. Despite missing almost the entirety of his first year, once he got back into the box, it was like he never left.
It honestly felt like nothing, just like the same game I played ever since I was little. So like I kind of keep that mindset when I'm hitting, because like you can spiral really easily if you don't like keep a playing mindset when you're in the box.
In just his 3rd collegiate game, he would hit his first home run, and he walked me through what was going through his mind during that at-bat.
Honestly, when I hit it, I was like, I wonder if I can make it a second, and I was like, oh, it actually might have a chance to leave, and then I kind of just slowed down and then really soaked it all in.
Thomas is currently 3rd on the team in home runs with 5, but the 2 players ahead of him have had over 4 times the amount of at-bats. The lefty accredits his easy transition to the D1 level to another veteran lefty in the clubhouse, Joe York.
Well, like Joey's kind of like the father of the team. He kind of like took us freshmen in and made us feel like it's just a game like we've always played. and like not really like overthink it. It's just like stay in between the lines and you'll do your thing. Like what you're recruited here to do is you'll probably end up doing either way.
Looking ahead to his sophomore season, Thomas recognized there is still plenty of room for improvement and looks forward to making an impact on the defensive side of the ball. For Mustang News Sports, I'm Anthony Mollison.
Thank you, Anthony. We'll be right back with some more analysis of Cal Poly baseball right after the break. Stay with us on Mustang Game Day.
The Polycon Tabletop Gaming Club just wrapped up their mini-con event on Cal Poly's campus. This event welcomes students and community members to play board games, card games, and role-playing games. It ran from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. this Saturday in the University Union.
It's a strong community. Most of the people who come to every meeting know each other by name.
There was an online form and an in-person sheet for participants to sign up for the game they wanted to play. Mini-cons are held about 3 times a school year leading up to the annual Polycon, which is a larger-scale gaming event. The Polycon Club, which puts on these events and has absorbed other clubs like Game Theory, brings in a variety of games and people to these events.
I just like getting together with the community and playing board games and other stuff like that. It's just a really good way to get out and socialize, and it's just relaxing.
Their club has been around for 41 years and is celebrating its 41st Polycon from June 21st to 23rd. They're open to all members of the community, and Bjorson says that in addition to students, many of their alumni come out to participate.
When you've been here this long, it just becomes, part of your life. Everybody here is a friend,
At the larger Polycon event, he says he'll reconnect with people he hasn't seen in years while they all bond over a hobby they've had since they were kids. For Mustang News, I'm Emmy Burris.
Welcome back to Mustang Game Day. We talked about some young players before the break, but now we wanted to highlight some of the seniors on Senior Day.
Yeah, that's right. Before the break, Sergio and I broke down this team and how its youth actually propelled Cal Poly to exceed expectations this year. But the Mustangs are also losing 5 seniors after tonight's game. First off, shortstop Aaron Casillas. He's regressed after a great start to the season. Transferring from CSU Bakersfield, his defense up the middle has been a mainstay presence that the Mustangs will surely miss this next season. And yeah, his mom mentioned it. Just a fantastic full circle moment there to get that walk-off against the Roadrunners in the middle of the season. The Cal Poly Mustangs eventually won that series against Bakersfield.
Yeah, and another senior who has contributed heavily this season is Ryan Baum. He also transferred in for the 2023 season and stepped into the swingman role for Mustangs. He started off the year as that Sunday starter before Griffin Ness kind of came out of nowhere and took that spot. But since going into the bullpen and kind of filling that long reliever role, Ryan Baum has really excelled, and he's found a spot on the team. Baum, a former College of San Mateo Bulldog, made 39 appearances and threw over 100 innings in his 2 seasons as a Mustang. And another transfer player in Jake Steele, senior Jake Steele, stepped up in a huge way to start this year, flirting with a 400 average in the leadoff spot to start the year. And having a guy like Steele in the leadoff spot is huge. Just being able to have that 400 batting average and the defense in center field that he provides is absolutely huge for this team. His speed as well, he could steal bases, steal second, third, can score from first on occasion. So he makes him the ideal leadoff hitter, and his defense in center field makes all of his efforts seem effortless.
Yeah, he's the classic Larry Lee prototype. A lot of the guys who can get on base and can be deadly on the base paths. Alejandro Garza, who I talked about earlier, he's a true freshman for the Mustangs. He fits that mold. Jake Steele also fits that mold, and both of those guys have been key players for the Mustangs this season, and his presence will certainly be missed. Also, alum from the Allen Hancock College just down south in Santa Maria. And lastly, I got to talk about the most iconic player for the Mustangs within the past 5 years. He's seen it all. He's done it all. He's been here through many eras of Cal Poly baseball. Joe York. He's the all-time Cal Poly leader in RBI with 176. That tops Steve Woods' mark that he earned this season. A 4-year starter, York has a career average just a tick under 300. Talk about a successful college career for Joe York.
No, yeah, 100%. Joe York will be greatly missed, not only by the fans, but in the dugout as well, in the clubhouse. Braxton Thomas talked about him in that video package earlier, how he's kind of the dad of the team, and he kind of gets the young freshmen and newcomers to settle down a little bit and get acclimated to their environment. So he's not only a big presence on the field with that career 300 batting average, but in the clubhouse as well. And he's just been a leader from day one ever since he got to the team.
And though they aren't seniors, the Mustangs will also be losing Ryan Stafford and Jacob Wright potentially to the MLB draft. Jack Hildebrand, our very own, sat down and talked with the pitcher who has a .297 ERA after recovering from Tommy John last season.
In Jacob Wright's third official season at Cal Poly, but first full season without injury, he is the Mustangs' most effective pitcher. His ERA sits at 2.96 as of May 26th, and is currently the 140th ranked MLB draft prospect. Although his growth into his major pitching role for the Mustangs was affected by Tommy John surgery for his first couple of seasons. Wright talks about the rehab process and what it took to get back out on the mound.
Basically going to your elbow and construct a whole new elbow for you. It's about like a 12 to 18 months, depending on how quick you recover, but for me, I think I threw a bullpen in 10 months, which was like a little sooner because I wanted to get back on the field as soon as I could. It was kind of more of like a mental struggle than a physical one. Like you kind of have the roadblocks set out for you on what you have to do to get back, but it was kind of like the mental struggle of if I'm gonna come back playing the same way, like everything I could do before, could I still do it, you know? So it was kind of just going out there and proving it to myself.
Wright explained what he thinks has led to his consistent season on the hill after coming back from a big injury.
I attribute that to Coach Moyer. I mean, he's gave me all like the throwing routines and cleaning up some stuff to help me stay on the field, and I feel really good still.
Cal Poly's pitcher also mentioned what part of his game he is looking to improve on and how he looks towards the possibility of entering the MLB draft in July.
Probably just get bigger, try and throw a little harder, just like really sharpen my craft, you know, throw all pitches in where I want to throw them, build on a changeup, like little things like that to really sharpen my skills. When the time comes, I'm definitely excited to go play in the next level. But as of right now, I'm just focused on tomorrow's game and the 2 games after that.
Reporting for Mustang News, my name is Jack Hildebrand.
Thank you, Jack, for that package. And yeah, his presence will certainly be missed if Wright were to go in the MLB draft. But the pitching rotation is still looking pretty good for the Mustangs. Next season, they got Carson Turnquist. He's recovering from Tommy John surgery, too. But we know at his best as an Oklahoma Sooner, I mean, he tops out at 97 miles per hour up there on the hill.
Yeah, for sure. Carson Turnquist coming back next season. It's going to be huge for the pitching staff, especially after losing Wright, who also, and fun fact, Turnquist and Wright were teammates in Paso Robles at Paso Robles High, so they had a little reunion this season. It sucks a little bit to not be able to see them pitch at the same time, but definitely a little passing of the torch, if you will. And Turnquist will do great things. Like you mentioned, he tops out at 98, so definitely some nasty stuff coming. Will continue to come next season as well.
Imagine being a student at, let's just say, Templeton High School. You have math at 8 a.m. and then Carson Turnquist at 3 p.m. And then the day after that, it's social studies and then Jacob Wright, just getting suffocated as a high school hitter. But that 1-2 punch will hopefully be something we could see, but also hopefully Jacob Wright could get drafted. That could be a cool moment for the Mustangs. And receiving those pitches has been catcher Ryan Stafford this season. He could also be a guy that goes in the MLB draft, as he's second on the team with a .370 batting average and is tied for the team lead in home runs with 6. Cal Poly will be losing the key player, as he's sure to get some interest from pro teams as well. I mean, he's an All-American as well, and he also played for Larry Lee on Team USA.
Yeah, for sure. Ryan Stafford is definitely getting his name out there, playing for Team USA. D1 Baseball ranked him as their top 5 catching prospect for this upcoming draft, and he has all the tools to succeed at the next level. He has got the bat to ball skills, he's got the bat discipline and stuff like that. So definitely would not be surprised to see him go in this draft.
We're going to head into break right now, but when we come back out of it, our reporter Dylan Allen is sitting by with ESPN Plus play-by-play broadcaster Chris Sylvester. Stay with us on Mustang Game Day.
The Cal Poly track was alive with hope and unity as participants gathered for Relay for Life, a cancer awareness event held by Cal Poly SLO's Colleges Against Cancer Club.
Like watching more and more people like come throughout the day, and when I got back, I went out to pick up the pizza and I got back and I saw everybody was like running around like laughing, playing with the water guns and like the little kids here, and like it's just such a nice feeling.
Kiana cares about change and that people in colleges can make a difference in cancer awareness if enough of them care about change too. She says it because cancer can affect anyone.
We're seeing college students here today wearing purple shirts. That means they're cancer survivors. This is my first relay to be wearing this shirt.
Deborah talked more about the people that showed up that have been through treatment and everyone else there to support the cause.
I think they're all amazing, and they get it. They know why they're here. And
Katie Fricks talks about someone she showed up for today.
Something that I still share with my uncle, you know, who sadly passed away from cancer like 10 years ago, I'd say. But like, it still feels like I'm like doing something good and for him, you know.
Isabella Ulick says the day was filled with moments of joy and connection, bringing the community together in a shared mission. Relay for Life not only supports people who have lost others to cancer, but serves as a beacon of hope in the fight against cancer.
Welcome back to Mustang Game Day here from Swanson Studios. Nate Mills joined by Sergio Romero. We just wrapped up talking about Jacob Wright and the incredible season he's having after recovering from Tommy John surgery. We're going to head back out to the broadcast booth at Baggett Stadium to catch up with play-by-play broadcaster Chris Sylvester, who's standing by with reporter Dylan Allen.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Baggett Stadium. It's a beautiful sunny day here for Senior Day, not Senior Night. My name is Dylan Allen. I am joined here by Chris Sylvester, the play-by-play broadcaster for your Cal Poly Mustangs. Chris, how you doing today?
Thanks for having me. It's always mixed emotions. You get to the end of the season and you start to have withdrawals about, getting out here just about every weekend. But, Cal Poly's got a chance at a 35-win season, top 3 finish in the Big West, so still some stuff to play for today.
Absolutely. They are in third, tied with Hawaii. Chris, it's been an excellent season for the Mustangs. It's the final game of the season. What would you say has been the best moment that you've seen out here?
Yeah, UC Santa Barbara, who won the conference, and UC Irvine, second place. They will be going to the NCAA tournament next week. And Cal Poly won series against both of those programs, and they could have swept both of those teams this year. The only losses they had were in extra innings against those two teams. So really good moments for the club, and you thought maybe that by beating those two teams in series, which nobody else in the Big West has done this year, that it would propel Cal Poly to a league title. Unfortunately, the Mustangs suffered some losses against other teams in the conference, and got to tip your cap to Santa Barbara and Irvine. They were nearly flawless against other teams, the bottom feeders in the Big West and some of the teams in the middle of the pack. And so for Cal Poly, a team that finished 7th, 8th place in the conference last year, it's a big turnaround for this club. A lot of improvements made among the returners from last year's club. But you talk to Larry Lee, he's not satisfied. This program hasn't been to a regional in a decade. That drought's going to grow to 11 years by the time 2025 rolls around. So there's a lot of urgency to be even better than this next year and get back to the postseason.
From a play-by-play perspective, you've been doing it for quite some time. What were your expectations heading into the season? You know, they had a down year last year, but they've exceeded expectations. As you talked about, they beat Irvine, the ranked teams, Santa Barbara. Going into the season, what were you thinking?
Yeah, there were a lot of question marks, right? Because you had 19 returners and 19 newcomers. So it was like an even split among, the guys coming back from last year and guys that were in their first season at Cal Poly. I think the biggest and best surprise has been the weekend rotation. Jacob Wright, who was limited to 19 innings of work last year, is going to be a Major League Baseball draft pick this summer, one of the top pitchers, the strikeout leader in the Big West this season. Stephen Brooks, a little bit shaky down the stretch, but he had a really good outing during the Big West season. And then Griffin Ness, who you'll see pitch today, is probably going to win Freshman Pitcher of the Year in the Big West. And so, as disappointing as it is that this team isn't going to go to the postseason this year, you can also be just as excited that Griffin Ness will be back next year and have a chance to build off all the success he's had this season. And Alejandro Garza, who was 4 for 4 last night, he might be the Freshman Field Player of the Year in the Big West. So while Cal Poly's going to say goodbye to Joe York and Ryan Stafford and Jake Steels, a lot of the top players on this year's club, they've got a lot of intriguing pieces coming back next year.
Absolutely, Chris. The vibes are high out here for senior day. You got the music playing, CJ on the public address. What is who is, from a senior perspective, who are you saddest to see go?
It's got to be Joe York, just because he's been here 4 years. He is the all-time RBI leader in Cal Poly baseball history, which is pretty remarkable what he's been able to do. And Big Joe's a fan favorite here, the signature belly slap when he gets a base hit. So we're going to miss Big Joe, but Ryan Stafford's going to go to the draft. He's been a terrific catcher here the last 3 years. Jake Steele has a chance to move into top 10 all-time batting average at Cal Poly, the starting center fielder, among some other guys that we'll say goodbye to.
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Take it easy. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Dylan, for that great interview with Chris Sylvester. A lot of good nuggets there from him on the play-by-play broadcaster. Makes sense. You kind of got to know those
yeah,
things.
He's always got some good stuff to say.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jacob Wright leading the Big West in strikeouts. That's something, you know, that we weren't really aware of, and that Santa Barbara and UC Irvine only lost series to Cal Poly this year. So, like you said, it's unfortunate that we won't see them, you know, earn the postseason action, but they do have the Big West tournament being implemented for the first time next year in the 2025 season, and that's going to be huge for the Mustangs to prove themselves and earn a postseason spot next year.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely exciting to see something like that. But now let's get into some keys to the game for the Mustangs to have some success here in their final game of the season. Key number 1, Griffin Ness needs to deal. We mentioned earlier the breakout freshman sports a 3.07 ERA on the season through 11 starts and 14 appearances. And the Mustangs are 9-2 in Ness's 11 starts. So the true freshman gives them a good chance to win every time he steps on the bump.
Yeah, and the offense needs to score early. The Mustangs sport a 9-2 record in their last 11 games when they score first. They need to jump on the Beach's Sunday starter early to set the tone. They have the top of the lineup to do so. And that's been important for the Mustangs throughout this whole season. When they attack early and they can establish that lead early, they can hold it down with that bullpen, which, as Chris said, has been a great surprise for the Mustangs this season. So if they can attack early with the bats, hold down the Beach, and they can win another series to cap off the year.
Yeah, 100%. You definitely want to close the season on a high note like that, and with jumping on the opponent's pitching early on. And another key is to lean on the freshmen. We mentioned earlier that all these freshmen have contributed heavily, and once again, lean on Griffin Ness to get the work done on the mound. Alejandro Garza slotted in at third base is a stellar defense. He plays with a lot of swag. Dare I say, he has aura. He's got a lot going for him. Puts the bat to the ball. Larry Lee's favorite player, probably. So Larry Lee won't hesitate to go to some of those freshmen. And another one that we mentioned, Braxton Thomas. It would be nice to see him kind of leave off at the season on a high note after kind of slumping a little bit.
So that's a look at our three keys to the game. Lean on the freshman, attack early, and Griffin Nez has got to shove. We're going to go to break right here, and when we come back, we're going to say farewell for the final time this year.
Slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
Well, Serge, that's going to do it for us here from Swanson Studios, as that was our final Mustang Game Day of the school year. And I just want to say thank you to everyone involved in the journalism department, especially my co-anchor right here, Sergio Romero, everyone working in the control room for today's show. I know there's a lot of people in there right now. It's been a great 2 years for me at Cal Poly. Started my first 2 years playing collegiate baseball, then transferred here as a student. And this place has just helped me excel my broadcasting career. And I couldn't have done it with everyone in the control room, everyone who takes classes in this building, giving me the opportunity to do stuff like this in front of Cal Poly students and the San Luis Obispo community.
No, yeah, for sure. You've contributed a lot to Mustang News. I'm going to miss you a lot. We've become great friends, especially over this past year. So you do a lot of good work. I'm excited to see what you do at ASU and see, or even during the summer for the Slow Blues, doing play-by-play for them. So I know you're not leaving slow yet, but it's gonna be a little bittersweet to see you go, Nate.
Means a lot, Sergio. Yeah, next year I'll be going to Arizona State for a sports journalism master's, and yeah, this summer I'll be broadcasting for the Slow Blues. They're a play-by-play broadcaster for this season, so. Little plug, maybe tune into that tonight at 6 p.m. on YouTube. But thank you for tuning in to Mustang Game Day, the final one of the season, and we bid a good luck to the Cal Poly Mustangs for their last baseball game of the year against Long Beach State. Have a good day, everyone.